Guys, today we're going to continue talking about solving inequalities, and there are going to be times where you're going to need to flip the inequality symbol, and we're going to look at those instances today. We're going to continue with the I can statement. I can graph the solution set of the inequality and interpret it in the context of the problem. So let's begin. When I am graphing an inequality, for example, x is greater than or equal to -3. I know that I need to put a closed circle at -3, and then I'm going to graph everything greater than -3. So -2, -1, 1, 0, 3, 4, 5. All of those are bigger than -3. But let's look at this one. The opposite of x is greater than or equal to -2. So this looks a little confusing because of that negative sign, right? But let's think about what we do know. It's going to be at least equal to, it's going to have something to do with -2, right? So let's substitute some numbers in for x to see what makes the true statement, okay? Let's start with 0. 0 is a good starting point usually. Does 0 work? Is the opposite of 0? Well, 0 doesn't have an opposite, it's 0. Is that greater than -2? Yes, it is, okay? What about 1? Is the opposite of 1 greater than -2? Yes, it is. What about 2? Is the opposite of +2 greater than or equal to -2? Yes, it is. Let's ask about 3. Is the opposite of 3 greater than or equal to -2? Well, the opposite of 3 is -3. Is -3 greater than or equal to -2? It's not. It doesn't work. What about 4? Is the opposite of 4 greater than or equal to -2? Well, what's the opposite of 4? -4. Is -4 greater than or equal to -2? It is not, okay? So we know 2 will be an answer that will work. We know these numbers that are smaller than 2 will work. Let's check some numbers that are smaller than 0. How about -1? Is the opposite of -1 greater than or equal to -2? Well, what's the opposite of -1? 1. Is 1 greater than or equal to -2? Yes, it is. How about -2? What's the opposite of -2? +4 or +2. +2 is greater than or equal to -2, so that works. How about -3? The opposite of -3 is 3. 3 is greater than or equal to -2. -4. The opposite of -4 is 4, which is greater than or equal to -2. So let's look at how we would graph this, okay? So the graph of -x is greater than or equal to -2 actually looks like this, which is different from how we're used to graphing. Maybe. Think about what we would need to do to solve the equation with a -x. That's like a -1 that needs to be divided by both sides. So really, -2 divided by -1, that's still going to give you a +2. So that's how we know to start here, right? But it's going to look the same as x is less than or equal to -2, because whenever we multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, we have to reverse or flip the inequality. So let's do some examples to see what that looks like. Let's solve, first of all, this inequality. I have multiplication, so in order to solve it, I need to divide. I'm dividing both sides by -4. So that's going to flip my inequality, and I can check that, okay? If I didn't, let's just say I forgot. X is greater than -5. Plug in some less than -5. Let's plug in some examples of numbers that are less than -5, like -6. If I forgot to flip the inequality, I'm going to know right away because I'm going to check my answers. -4 times -6 is +24. Is +24 less than 20? No, it's not. So I know I did something wrong. I forgot to flip my inequality. Now let's see what happens when I do flip my inequality. Let's pick a number greater than -5, like -4. -4 times -4 Is that, oops, sorry, greater than or less than 20? Well, -4 times -4 is 16, which is less than 20. So that's why this solution is correct. I'm going to check it both ways to make sure that it's correct. Let's try another. Multiply, I have division. I'm going to multiply both sides by -3. That gives me x is less than -18 because I'm going to flip the inequality. As soon as I take that negative sign and multiply or divide it, I need to flip my inequality. Now let's check it. X has to be less than -18. So let's pick a number less than -18. How about -21? -21 divided by -3 should be greater than 6. Well, what's -1 divided by -23? That's 7, which is greater than 6. So I know my inequality is correct. Here's another one. I'm multiplying both sides by -6, so I need to divide both sides by -6. Because I'm dividing by -6, I'm going to flip my inequality, and I can check it. X has to be greater than or equal to -30. So let's pick a number that's greater than -30. How about -20? -6 times -20 should be less than or equal to 180. -6 times -20 is positive 120, which is less than 180. So I know that this is a good solution. We're done with this video. You can go back and watch any portion of this video as many times as you need, or the whole thing, but don't forget to WSQ in your notes.